3, with funding to be provided by the FEMA Disaster Assistance Cost DAC funds.
Afternoon, Commissioners. I appreciate you having me up here and getting to share this joyous project with you that we have here. So when I came in here to Glenn County, I was excited to become part of this team. The commitment, responders, all the planning that's gone on, it's been tremendous. This is a standalone EMA agency. Y'all were ahead of the game in so many things. But as I came in, took time, learned the agency's operations, and we did a gap analysis to see what plans we had, what did we need, where were we at as far as sheltering, and so forth. And we set a priority list on the plans that needed to get done based on FEMA requirements, GMO requirements, regulatory requirements, and of course life safety, here for Glenn County, like the creation of the tropical cyclone, the hurricane plan, right? So doing that, and we developed a list of plans that we needed to get done, and some that we needed to update after we've been here. It's almost been 4 years since I've been here so far. And we had this list, and we've been looking for ways to fund these projects. Well, luckily, we had the direct administrative costs, the DAC funds, became available, the FEMA funds. So looking at there, FEMA has strict guidelines on what we can spend these funds on. And so the planning, what we're using it for is planning. Planning is one of the eligible activities. So we met with the leadership, we met with incident management teams, the executive policy group people. Every time you see us, y'all are part of it sometimes when we do these, and we looked at it and we said, okay, we need the list of the plans. What do we actually need to accomplish and get updated with the funds that we have available? So we created that list, and I'll briefly tell you what some of these plans are right here. A search and rescue coordination plan, continuity of operations, family assistance center, our emergency operations plan update with a hazardous materials annex, volunteer donations, points of distribution plan, animals in disaster, mass fatality, short-term recovery damage assessment, and so forth, going down the list all the way down to emergency fuel, petroleum lubricants, all standard in our scope of work and what we do in emergency management. So some of them are updates, and some of them are regulatory plans that we have to stay in compliance with FEMA and GMO. So like I said, we looked at our stakeholder group, we picked these projects, we went forward, we worked with the team, with our procurement department, RFP 26-013, the Master Comprehensive Planning, and we took the bids, and then we did the evaluation, and we came to Early Alert is the company that we chose that showed the ability to complete this. Now, something that we threw in this that's I think one of the best parts of all of this is that we have an exercise requirement for the county for emergency management, FEMA GMO rules. So with each of these exercises, or these plans over the next 2 years, it's going to take us about 2 years to write these. We're going to get a tabletop exercise with all of them to actually put these in play. So it's going to mean actually requirements for a couple of years.
Role play.
Yeah, so we'll get that with it. So, and again, this is like, I started, if you were to say, like, what is your dream as an emergency manager? What is the best thing that could happen for the community? This is one of the best things that, if we could use these funds for. And it got approved. I mean, we worked hard, Monica in particular, to get these done, and everybody on the team that helped, draft the outlines for how we're going to do these projects. So this is going to take us from standard operating procedures that are like for police department, fire department, Brunswick, and it's going to make a county-wide plan. So, and that's where we're headed. That's our whole goal, is to work together, respond as one team. So that's what this is: preparing as partners, responding as a team. It's going to guide our future exercises and trainings. It's awesome opportunity, and that's how this came about, all through the FEMA DAC funding. And I appreciate y'all giving me time here to sit here and explain this to you, because I'm super excited about it, if you can't tell. All right, thank you.
One thing I like for us to begin to look at, and I know the city is a part of this, and you all work out.
Yes.
I want us to look deeper into a neighborhood base plan. What do I mean by that is, we, at this level, we have staff with the county and the city that are trained and do exercises all the time. I really want us to get to seeing if we can identify some neighborhood leaders to be a part of that and to help respond
So that's,
part of that.
I like that. So I don't, you know what? We'll talk about that. So we've been starting that through our CERT, where you know we've done that. We've started to pick different neighborhoods, but in the city, that's a really good idea. Almost like a response coalition together, like the leadership part of it at the NPAs. I think that.
Right, and
Yeah.
I really want us to have this neighborhood emergency response.
Neighbors helping neighbors. And,
Right.
yeah. Okay.
Because that's who really responds first.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid that a lot of people are not going to leave in my district. We have we need to get somebody to help out. It could save some lives.
Well, let's. I know this is not with this, but we'll go offline with that, and we could possibly use. You know, we just got the new 100 kits for the CERT program. We can focus those together if you'd like to work with that. We'll follow up with you. We'll send you an email as soon as this meeting's over to make sure we can set us a date to talk about that. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we award a contract to Early Alert, Inc. in the amount of $172,100 for Master Comprehensive Emergency Management Planning Services, RFP 26-013, with funding to be provided by FEMA Disaster Assistance Cost.
Second.
We have a first and a second to approve item 9 as presented. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Move on to general business. Item 12, approve or deny a request from the Coastal Georgia Historic Society to sponsor the Revolution on the Coast, a 250th celebration and the first Oval Office project to be held at Gaston Bluff Park in March 2026, and refund park rental fees in the amount of $1,737.50.
Hey. Hey, good afternoon, Commissioners. Lisa Gerganis, Recreation and Parks Director. So before you today, there's a request on the table from the Coastal Georgia Historical Society for a fee waiver of park rental fees for an event that's forthcoming in March of 2026. As you all know, we did implement a new process this year whereby the usual process is that if organizations pay their fees up front, and then after an event has taken place, then if they would like to request a refund of those fees, it's usually taken up by the Finance Committee at that time. This situation is a little bit different in that the Executive Director of the Historical Society, Ms. Whitney Stewart, has proposed that in addition to the waiving of the rental fees for the park on those dates in March, that the county be considered as a sponsor for the event. So we're bringing this forward to you for consideration in case that is the direction that the county would like to go, because that would allow some time in advance of the event for Ms. Stewart and her team to potentially include Glenn County in any marketing materials related to the event. Ms. Stewart is here today if you would like to, she's here to answer any questions you have or talk more about the event if you have any questions. I'd like to bring her up.
Yes, I certainly would like to know more about it.
I also have. Hi, y'all. I'm Dr. Whitney Nell Stewart. I'm the new Executive Director of Coastal Georgia Historical Society. I do have some sponsor packets that will provide some helpful information, and I'd love to give a little bit of background for y'all. So hopefully everyone here knows that next year, 2026, is the 250th anniversary of our nation. It's the semi-quincentennial. It's not the most flow off your tongue kind of term, but it is a huge moment to celebrate our nation's founding and to think about our ideals and how we are living up to them. And as we can tell, CGHS is currently one of, if not the only organization that is planning a major event to celebrate this. And we are working with multiple community partners to make sure that this is something that our community is going to be able to experience the history and the continuing importance of the American Revolution and the founding of the nation. The way that we're seeing this, it's a week-long history festival that culminates in the weekend with this first Oval Office project from the Museum of the American Revolution in Philadelphia that brings down replica tents of General George Washington's Mobile Command Center for the Continental Army, and it brings 6 costumed interpreters, experts in their fields, from the museum. Friday of that weekend is going to be dedicated solely to Glenn County students, and we're working with Glenn County schools to get those students there. Saturday and Sunday is going to be free and open to the public, thanks to a generous donation from Brunswick Cellulose. And so we're going to see this as something that brings in not only community members, but beyond into the region, into the state, to bring people to the coast. And that's one reason we would love to have the county as a sponsor, because we see this not only as something for CGHS, not only as something for our community, but as a way to really celebrate as a state. Unfortunately, Georgia has been a little behind some of the other states when it comes to planning for the 250th, but we see this as an opportunity for Glenn County and the Golden Isles to really shine during this year. I'd be happy to take any questions.
I'm kind of want clarity. So are you asking for the refund of $1,737 to be as toward a sponsorship? Or is it two separate things, us being a partner and the sponsor and then waiving the $1,700? I just want to, see where we're at, and also if we would be recommending this to go to the full board. So that's kind of my questions. Kind of 3 in 1, but just want some clarity on that.
Sure, so I think this partially depends on what y'all want to do. First and foremost, we would love to be able to recognize Glenn County as a sponsor and to come in at the lowest sponsorship level, which is a captain level. We have all of our tiers named after Army ranks, would be $2,500. So the park rental fees would take us very close to that level. There are a few other things that we could use help from the county for in terms of, for instance, lighting at the park. And a few other instances of things that would bring us up to that $2,500 level that would have us then recognizing Glenn County as a sponsor and partner for this week-long history festival for the community.
What's the hours each day for the festival?
So the weekday programming, which will happen both on St. Simons and in Brunswick, will be evening programs, and those things range from history lectures to, we're hoping, knock on wood, that we can get a sing-along of Hamilton, which will be a very family-friendly event. But then the weekend, that big First Oval Office project, the Friday is dedicated solely to school kids, as I mentioned. Saturday and Sunday is going to be from roughly 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And we're expecting thousands of people to come through Gascoyne Bluff Park for this.
And Lisa, the $1,737, that's generally in place for cleanup. Is that correct?
That's just an established park rental fee that we have at the nonprofit rate, obviously. We've already given them the nonprofit rate for the rentals. It also includes, that actually excludes the park cleaning fee because that's a non-refundable fee, but that does not include any staff fees or anything like that associated with it.
Okay, so the cleanup fee's separate?
Yes, sir, that's separate.
Okay.
And so this covers, I think, 3 of the 5 days. I don't think we charged for the setup and cleanup days. I think this was just for 3 of those 5 days.
Okay.
If my memory serves.
I have a couple of questions.
Please.
Yes, so of course Glenn County is one of the oldest counties in the state. Has the State Historical Society, have they been somehow partnered, have you partnered with them in this project?
I am going up to Savannah next week to talk with Todd Gross, who is the CEO and president of Georgia Historical Society, to bring them on board. They're one of the few organizations who has been slowly making sure that we have different celebrations planned for next year, and we see this as really aligning well with what they are doing. So we'll be able to have some statewide recognition through them as well.
To your knowledge, is Chatham County kind of in other words, you're ahead of the curve, is that what I?
We are
understood?
indeed. And it's not only because we don't want to host this in July and all of us be outside on Gascoigne Bluff Park in July being eaten by bugs and sweating, is why we're having it in March. But we also like the idea of making sure that it's a year-long celebration, because of course a lot of people are going to be having celebrations in July 4th. We want to kind of start it a little bit early and make sure that we're extending it all year long.
Ms. Gerganis, the sponsorship request, do we have a precedent? Have we done a sponsorship before, or would this be something different?
This would be new for me in the time that I've been here. That's not typically something we do whenever we've given fee waivers. So I guess there's 2 points here. It's whether you want to do the sponsorship or and the refund of the rental fees, or you could choose one or the other. And I didn't realize there was additional cost to sponsorship above that. I might have misunderstood Ms. Stewart in some previous conversations about the sponsorship level.
I see Ms. Munson.
Good afternoon, Tamara Munson, County CFO. Typically, we do not do sponsorships. It is not something we're allowed to use taxpayer money to support any nonprofits. You could approve to refund this request, and if they want to credit that as a sponsorship, you could also help with some in-kind donations, such as providing some lights or something at the park, but we can't give cash donations on any kind of sponsorships.
And that's exactly what I was thinking as well. So thank you so much for that clarification.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was gonna suggest we just do the waiver request today, and have further discussions. So she's answered that question. I have a concern with two. One, are we doing anything on the mainland?
Yes, we're going to have one of our 4 weekday programs is going to be on the mainland. We're working with the St. Simon's African American Heritage Coalition on our Wednesday program, and that's going to be a Brunswick event.
That kind of answers my other point. It's going to be a diverse telling of the story, and being just part of it.
Yes, sir. I am a PhD trained historian, and I believe in a full and honest history, and it's one where we have to tell from multiple perspectives, and so I am dedicated to making sure that our story is telling the full richness of the American Revolution and the American story.
Okay, that's it for me. Commissioners?
Commissioner Clark, did you have any other questions? No. Okay. Mr. Chairman, and I'm not sure exactly how to word this. Can we modify I would like to make a motion to waive the fee, but the way this is written, to sponsor.
No.
Yeah, and Commissioner Sweat, I think it would be a motion to approve the request to refund the park rental fees in the amount of $1,737.50.
That's the motion that I would like to make, Mr. Chairman, is to refund the fee for this request.
And second.
We have a first and a second to approve a refund for the request of this event. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
Item 13, approve or deny a refund request from Andrew Milligan to refund interest and penalties paid on property taxes for the year 2024 in the amount of $2,434.81 for parcel number 0412869, located at 158 Stillwater Drive, St. Simon, Alabama.
Hey, good evening, Commissioners. I'm afraid my request is a bit of a personal one. This was our second home that we've bought. We moved out of our other one. It's the first time I've ever had my property taxes not escrowed. The tax bill had been was being sent to my old address, so I never received any notice of it. And the only reason I ever realized that we hadn't paid it was my accountant caught it. I changed my address at the post office and changed it at the DMV. Did not realize I had to go upstairs as well to change it here. Would have paid it certainly had I received it, but once I got to the bottom of it, I went ahead and paid the full amount, including the interest and penalties, and just wanted to see if there's any way to either refund that or use it as a credit towards my 2025 property taxes.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Yes, sir.
Everett?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. By Mr. Milligan's own admission, he didn't change his mailing address, so we sent the bills to the address that we have on file. And failure to receive a tax bill does not relieve you of responsibility to make your payment by the due date. The Office of the Tax Commissioner follow proper procedures.
Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to deny a refund request from Andrew Milligan to refund interest and penalties paid on property taxes for 2024 in the amount of $2,434.81, parcel number 0412869, located 158 Stillwater Drive, St. Simons Island, Georgia.
Well, first and a second to deny the request for a refund for item 13. All in favor, raise your right hand. Item 14, approve or deny a refund request from Leanne Summercamp, manager for Cottage 179 LLC, to refund interest and penalties paid on property taxes for the year 2024 in the amount of $621.33 for parcel number 0500251, located at 3219 Willow Oak Road. Summercamp?
Okay. On June 28, 2024, they filed a value appeal with the BOA. So on October the 10th, a temporary bill was mailed out, an 85% bill. They paid that temporary bill on October 23rd. The BOA final decision was made on December 12th, 2024. In that case, additional taxes were due after their decision, so we mailed out a bill for the remainder to Cottage 178 LLC on January 31st, 2025. Okay, where are we? On September 17th, 2025, our 2025 tax bills were mailed out. There was a delinquent amount on the 2025 tax bills. They paid that bill on October 27th, but in between us mailing out the bill and them paying the bill, additional interest and penalties was added to that 2024 balance. So that's where this additional $621.33 came from.
So the waiting on the decision after they submitted for evaluation. You say that part?
Okay, the extra charges came from, like you said, there was an additional balance owed after the final decision was made. Then we mailed out our 2025 tax bills. They paid that amount, but in between us mailing those bills out and them paying that amount that was on the tax bill, additional penalties and interest was added to that 2024 amount because of the dates, the due dates.
I'm trying to get clarity if they didn't do something that caused this.
Well,
The process.
they didn't pay the bill on time.
Okay.
That's what caused it.
I think, I'm a little confused though
Okay.
on the, you said in between, the amount.
So they got
How did they get that information, I guess, that told them?
full amount.
They got the full amount. It was on the 2025 tax bill. There was a delinquent amount on that bill for the 2024, but because of the timing, additional fees was added to that 2024 tax amount.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to deny a request from Leanne Summercamp, manager of Cottage 178 LLC, to refund interest penalties paid on property taxes for the years 2024 in the amount of $621.33 for parcel number 0500251 located at 3219 Willow Oak Road.
Second.
We have a first and a second to deny the request for a refund for item 14. All in favor, raise your right hand. And a motion.
Chairman, I make a motion to adjourn.